AITA for being furious at my ultra-traditional mother for almost feeding my baby a solid. We have a newborn who is too young to have anything other than milk. My deeply religious mother, who was born and raised in India, wanted to feed a morsel of a religious offering to the baby. The nearest equivalent would be body of Christ. The offering was made of flour, sugar, butter and water. My mother was told several times not to feed the baby. She eventually just put the food to my baby's lips as a compromise that we didn't okay. I blew up at her saying that she put my baby's health at risk and it's incredibly disrespectful. Her reply, as well as several other relatives since, was that she didn't actually feed the baby and this is a centuries-old tradition and I'm massively overreacting and being an asshole towards my great-mother who was trying to bless the baby. Am I the asshole for setting a boundary, or am I being an overprotective first-time parent? NTA. Your child is your responsibility, not hers. If you don't want her to give her solid food or even have it near her mouth, you're more than justified. Also, she went around you to try to fulfill her religious beliefs. There's no problem with being religious, but like the Catholic Church showed us, that doesn't allow you to shove things in a child's mouth. Really, the bottom line is you said no and mother did what she wanted anyway. She undermined you as a parent. NTA and nip that in the bud now. I just looked up Annaprashana, the first time a baby eats solid food. Most notably, I saw this. According to the Hindu scriptures, the Annaprashana ceremony must not be performed for a child younger than 4 months or even after the completion of his first year. Quote, NTA. It doesn't matter if she actually fed the baby the food or not. You are the mother and you said, no, or at least did not say yes. That means that she does not do it. The parents are the final authority for the child. So the issue is not if she actually fed the baby or not, the issue is that she deliberately ignored your authority as the parent because of her religious fervor. AITA for making my husband change his custody agreement. Yes, I'm an evil stepmom. Judge accordingly. My 38F husband, 40 meters, and I have 4 girls, H1, 14, H2, 12, M1, 10, and O2. We've been married for 6 years. While we are a blended family, all of our daughters are, well, ours. The issue comes in with my husband's ex, J, 38F. She chooses not to drive, not a medical issue or disability, so transporting our oldest 2 always falls on my husband or I. This means all doctor appointments, school events, extracurriculars. Everything. In November, we got a call from the principal that H1 and H2 were missing a lot of school, and their attendance would need to improve after winter break to avoid summer school. We talked with girls, who said that if they missed the bus, they missed school because Jay didn't have a way to get them there. So my husband started driving them every day. It worked for a while, but the girls complained about waking up even earlier, since Hubs has work. It also meant I was left trying to get M and O out the door myself before getting to work. Starting January through March, I noted every time my husband needed to do something for his girls on Jay's time, and how long it took. I also factored in time my husband lost time due to Jay not driving, like needing them home by 8 instead of picking him up at 8. At the beginning of April, I sat him down and showed him my data. Over 3 months, we ended up with his girls nearly 70% of the time. I also showed him how the current schedule was impacting our life together. This may be why I'm the R. Hubs asked what I thought we should do. I told him it was obvious, that we should petition to change custody so we had them more regularly. I pointed out that we had them 3 nights per week minimum already, and saw them for dance and softball and most weekends. It made sense to switch the custody agreements so that he wasn't paying CS for time that we had the kids. I also brought up we live in a better school district, and H1 would be starting high school in the fall. She's such a brilliant girl, I think being in our district would help her tremendously. Well, today the custody agreement was settled. It flipped so we have them 6 days, every other, and Jay has them 1 day, every other. The girls got to have a say, and both want to live with us. After meeting with the judge, Jay pulled me aside and told me I was hateful, that I was stealing her children away, that I was flaunting my privilege, and I was, basically robbing her. I didn't say anything, but I'm still upset and wondering if I should have left it alone. So, AITA. NTA. Jay pulled me aside and told me I was hateful, that I was stealing her children away, that I was flaunting my privilege, and I was, basically robbing her. She's just upset that her monthly pot of money is going away. You did the right thing. The girls are old enough to tell the court where they want to live, which was with Hubs. You concentrate on taking care of those girls and giving them the best life you can. Hugs. NTA. Nothing you did was malicious. It was in the best interest of the children, his, yours, and shared. The ex can choose not to drive, but it is up to her to arrange transportation when the kids are with her. Not rely on her ex-husband to do everything. And there is no excuse for not getting them to school. NTA. If Jay can't drive, she needs to come up with other solutions. Public transport, taxis, walking, rising, asking friends and families, carpools she contributes gas money to. Or even changing her decision not to drive if there's not a trauma or deep fear-based reason for the decision. So many options. Letting her kids miss school is not one of those options. Also, the girls are old enough to clearly state what they want. If they want to live with you, they should. NTA. I am all for fathers having more time with their kids. Especially dads who go to the ends of the earth for the girls, which your husband clearly did. Ignore Jay. It's amazing any judge anywhere decided in favor of the father over the mother. That's cold hard data, and he shouldn't be paying Jay if he's basically acting as the primary parent. She's sour grapes over lost money. If she wanted what was best for her kids, she would make sure they got it. Despite her preference not to drive, whatever her reasoning, she would have gotten over it if her children's education was her highest concern. Obviously it wasn't. Jay can't even make sure they get to school, so much so the school has contacted the parents about this issue. That more than anything probably swayed the judge. Jay is aiming at you as easy target, given your position as stepmom. You've made life better for your husband and these girls. Be proud of it. I'd say NTA based on the girls themselves want to stay with you and your husband. I do believe ultimately it should be their say. But there's a lot of missing information here. Such as, what's her reason for not driving? If not physical, is it psychological? Financial? Why did they miss the school bus constantly? Was there ever enough communication between the three parents about ways to solve this, and have your husband given her an ultimatum before this custody situation changed? I'm conflicted between NTA and NA. All we knew about her character is that she doesn't drive and that somehow, in her own words, she's less privileged. Not owning a car shouldn't warrant a bad parent title. So I'm not sure that she's the R here either unless we know more about her situation. Jay doesn't drive because she's from the city and no one drives in the city, and there's no need because everywhere delivers now. I'm not sure about the bus, but I know from the girls that she was asleep when they left. They both have ADHD, diagnosed, so time management is even more difficult than normal for teenage girls. It's tough for us, too, but we try to make sure they're in bed early enough and wake up on time. There have been many conversations about custody. Jay likes to throw that since my husband asked for the divorce, all these issues are his to solve. I didn't add much about her character because it would all be my opinion of her, which is hardly objective, you know. I don't think she's a bad mom, but I think she makes poor choices that impact her ability to parent well. AITA for calling my friend a cocked-out loser. I'll call my friend Kate. We're 32F. We've been friends since high school, though we're not as close anymore, different interests, different places in life. Kate has never left her parents' house. She works a lot, and parties even more. She's often partying with people a decade younger. She does cocaine sometimes, and it makes her quite verbally aggressive. All of our friends are married, having kids, and she's made comments when we've gotten married, such as saying she's really not sure a couple that had been together 7 years was ready to get married. She hasn't ever truly been in a serious relationship. A lot of us have, frankly, chalked it up to jealousy. I'm pregnant now, finally. My husband and I struggled with infertility for over 2 years. I am in my second trimester. I got together with Kate and a few other friends the other day. I had a feeling she was on coke, just from her eyes. I don't know if these friends know she uses. This conversation ensued. She asked me out of the blue, "Will I be a good mom?" I said sure. She started saying she knows she'll be better than me. That she's more emotionally stable and I'm not. That she's raised kids before, she worked as a nanny for a couple years, and just not everyone is meant to have kids. She said if I am not ready for this, I shouldn't do it. She said I have options. I was in shock and beyond hurt. Kate is well aware that we've gone through fertility challenges and treatment. She knows I'm thrilled to be pregnant. This conversation occurred completely out of the blue. We weren't talking about my pregnancy at all. I snapped and said, "I know I'll be better than a cocked-out loser who hasn't left her parents' house." And I left. One of my friends texted me that Kate was very hurt and I should apologize. I may have gone too far, but I'm still beyond hurt by what Kate said to me. My husband, who doesn't enjoy Kate at all, told me I don't need to apologize. He wants me to cut her off completely. AITA. ETA. I do not believe Kate is addicted to cocaine. You guys know that kid in high school who would brag he had 472,882 shots of tequila followed by even more shots of vodka the night before, and you knew there was no way. That's kind of Kate. You have to take what she says with a grain of salt. NTA. Text that friend back. I am also hurt that Kate would tell me she would make a better mother than me, infer I wasn't the type of person to be a good mother, and that I am not emotionally stable, and these are things she said knowing I struggled to get pregnant and decided to bring up out of nowhere. My response was completely justified, and now I'm a little hurt, to be honest, that your text isn't asking if I am okay, not acknowledging how poorly Kate behaved, and centering Kate's feelings while ignoring my own. Kate needs to be cut out. Coke, alcohol, living with the parents, partying, who cares? I have no judgment for Kate on her life, her plans, or her lifestyle. But you do not need people in your life who pick at you and put you down, and also create tornadoes of drama wherever they go, and that is exactly what Kate did here. She was mean for no reason, you matched her energy, now you have a friend texting you, you are writing on Reddit about it, you probably are thinking about it a lot, etc. And you don't need that kind of energy in your life. NTA. Honestly, I would have called her worse. Ignoring everything she might be, jealous etc., her comments about you as a mother and taking care of the baby were not acceptable and incredibly hurtful. Has she reached out to apologize? Are your friends who say she is hurt asking her to apologize to you? It may be time to consider what you get from this friendship these days, and if it's only situations like this, then it's okay to let the friendship end. Friends for life rarely happen, and most friendships end without a bang. And that's okay. Focus on your baby and husband and life and just walk away from this all. Apologize if it will make you feel better, forgive her and yourself, and walk away from friends like that. NTA. Her comments were out of line and completely unsolicited. I'm sure Kate needs help and addiction issues are no joke, but what she said to you was catty and downright toxic, and you don't need that kind of vibe around you or your family. If you feel too bad, send her a text or a letter, apologize for what you said and explain how what she said was way out of line, then tell her you wish her well and, as your hubby suggested, say goodbye to her. Edit. Also, I would question why that friend texted you defending Kate and making her look like a victim but not at all asking about you or showing any support for you after what Kate said. Entire. What you said was true, she's a woman in her 30s living at her parents' addicted to cocaine IDK. How she could not be a loser in that scenario. Kate definitely has a coke problem, though she doesn't have to be selling all of her possessions and living on the streets to be considered having a drug problem. Her doing coke in a normal not party setting where no one else is having a grand time whilst hurting her friends is a clear sign that she has a problem. Kate obviously has some severe insecurities. If she's partying with the coke monster, as well as people a decade younger, that tells me she's having serious issues with society as a whole, but especially her own personal status within society. Kate is an insecure asshole, but all she was doing was projecting her own fears and insecurity upon you. Everything she said to you, she feels about herself. Your insecurities are she might be right. You might not be a great mom. However, I'd ask you to stop entertaining those fears of not being good enough to be a mother. You've tried hard to get to this place, and with that comes a certain appreciation when you're finally there that will see you doing quite well. If not a tad overprotective. You were hurt by Kate because it tapped one of your own insecurities, fears. You reacted and said something very ugly to someone else who, if you stopped for more than 3 minutes to think about, has some very significant emotional issues. If you don't give a shit about this woman, why get hurt over what she said and maintain that anger? There's a way to be loving in this situation, and you chose not to be. The same way Kate chose not to be. All due to fear. You could always have spoken to her like the injured little girl she really is, and perhaps heard that she's miserable and knows she could not do today what you are doing. If that's too much work, then absolving yourself of this relationship is also a perfectly good choice to make. Release it because you love her. But really release it because you love yourself enough to not want to be mean to someone else and incur that karma, guilt. Something in between NTA and Esh. She's the original asshole, but two wrongs don't make a right IMO. It's an understandable reaction, but still not the right one. I'd also be really careful judging about her level of addiction. One friend of mine recently told me, she was in an online cult for years and none of her friends noticed. I couldn't, because we live in different countries, so we just see each other too little. Often there are things that give it away, but not always. There are surprisingly surface-level functional addicts. So it could really be either way. Anyways, cutting her off seems like a good idea. Apologizing is great and all, but from where I stand it looks like mending a friendship that doesn't exist.